name in the book, find their eyes. Two men walking where the harvest lies. Oh, elder bar wax stepped out the door, Bible in his hand, feet hit the floor. Sun just rising, but he been up late, calling on heaven for the souls of chase, bending out home with him. Side by side, side by side, front porch prayers, long car ride, knocking on hearts more than knocking on doors, looking for the lost that the world ignores. Elder Barrow walking by Naya Hall, a man who wins soul, calling us home when we drift so far. A man who wins soul, a man who wins souls. Oh, street on the corner, chains on the mind. They speak true, watch them unwind. Tears start falling, walls come down, all heart beating to a different sound. They don't chase fame, they don't chase hype, just read the page and live that life. One by one, see the wounded rise, flash start shining in their eyes. From the prisons to the projects, from the suburbs to the small towns, where the pain hides, quiet in the background. They go, they go, they go, they go. Playing one word, watch 10 more grow. Calling us home when we drift so far. A man who wins soul, a man who wins soul, a man who wins soul. Calling us home when we drift so far. A man who wins soul, a man who wins souls. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. A good report.
Gather yourselves together, gather yourselves together, oh, selves together, gather yourselves together, oh, nation of desire.
Waking up in Ashkelon, seen everything we lost. All he ever asked, keep these commandments gave us lost. Waking up and witnessing how bad was the fall. The clouds touched the buildings, y'all, we done lost it all. His eyes upon his land from the beginning to the fall. Lights up in my eyes, I can't explain, I'm just at all. We seen his protection, bombs drop, stood tall. Psalm 91, he out the fence, he the wall. It's the time of compassion, the remnant is gathering. Self-examination, meeting with prayer and fasting. Jerusalem, a holy city surrounded by many mountains. A good land, valley, and hills and deep fountains. Y'all, we did you wrong, we wanna stay home. We devout your name, but you still waking up these bombs. You the only one that get these hymns, get these songs. Gather together, he on the throne.
Gather yourselves together, gather yourselves together, oh, nation of desire. Gather yourselves together, gather yourselves together, oh, nation of desire.
Before the decree, seek righteous, seek peace. Gotta stay humble, stay lowly, stay meek. The day of his anger approaching, we see. He want the remnant of Judah to see coast. We got the cheat code, don't need no peephole. He He at the door, let him in, that's his people. The lion of Judah gon' tear down their ego. She bout to fall, don't you end up where she go.
Gather yourselves together. Gather yourselves together. Oh, nation of desire. Gather yourselves together. Gather yourselves together. Oh, nation of desire.
Shalom, Facebook. Shalom, YouTube. This is
Shalom.
National Hebrew Institute of Technology. We're not affiliated with any camps or hate groups. We have a special guest back again, family, from last week, Remy Iola. For those who weren't here last week, I hope that they can tune in this week. We have a Q&A. I'm going to ask some questions, then open the floor up for questions for everybody else. And pray that everybody can get edified and learn some things that you didn't know. And please get your questions ready, all right? So welcome, Remy. How are you doing? Unmute your mic. You got to get used to that.
I'm doing well, brother Shah Barawak. Thank you for having me back again.
Excuse me. Good. Let me get my desk situated here. All right, family. So a lot of people are not here yet, but hopefully they'll tune in and catch it. But I'm going to start off with the first question. Why do you say that the languages called the Igbo and Hebrew languages are one language originally?
Thank you. As I said in the last show and in several other appearances of mine, including in published books, any or every careful look at the two languages show that the peoples that spoke the two languages saw or see the world in identical ways. I will expound on this point I made with an example. In the book of Genesis, the writers of the Bible tell us, I use the present tense because the Bible is still speaking to us today. The writers of the Bible tell us Adam knew his wife. What they meant was that Adam had sexual relations with the wife. Remember, the language of Genesis is called the Hebrew language. So, what the people who spoke that language understood a man having sexual relations with the wife to mean was that he knew his wife. Up to the year 2025, the Igbo expression for sexual intercourse is to know. If a young Igbo woman of 16 years becomes sexually active and the community knows, the community will say, Omarugo nwoke, he has known man. This is one. Both languages share so many words. Both languages share so many words. We can literally not be able to count the words they share if we decide to start now. The language we call Hebrew today, I want to be careful to say that in the very oldest writings that contain that language, or documents that contain that language, it was not called Hebrew. We decided to call the language Hebrew because we believe that it was the people called the Hebrew people that used that language. But be that as it may, that language will describe this organ that I'm pointing at, the head, as Roshi. Roshi. This is from where Rosh, the head of a synagogue, is gotten. In the language we call Igbo, the head is Ishi. How many do they have in common? Ishi, Roshi. As I pointed out last week, we just finished with Hanukkah. Hanukkah means festival of lights. In Hebrew, a lot of people say it is Chag Urim. Chag Urim. The Igbo word, an older Igbo word for light, is Urimu. The golden city, Jerusalem. When we say Jerusalem, we are using the English language. If we want to call its name in the language we call Hebrew, it is Uru Shalom. Location, place, city of peace. Uru, in the language I grew up speaking before I spoke English, means city or location or place. I was born in Uru Okwe. In the place I would call my homeland today, that is, Americans may know it as Igbo land, there are up to, I don't know the numbers, but definitely there are hundreds of locations prefixed with Uru. In my republic alone, there are over 20. If you approach most Israelis today and tell them to tell you the word for lion, they will tell you Ari. Ari. Ari is a lion. They will not likely tell you about Agu. The Igbo word for the big cats is Agu. Agu. And Agu or Gu, what is left of that word? What is left of that word in the language we call Hebrew is Gu. That is the root of the name Ben Gurion. Gurion. Gurion means son of lion. While in the Igbo language, Agu can stand for lion. Everybody loves to hang the mezuzah on their doors. Uzo. is door in the Igbo language. We are now going to leave the similarities in words and going more into worldview. In one of the passages in Genesis, which was written in the language we call Hebrew, the writers say Haran died in the face of the father. Typically, nobody dies in the face of another person. This is an idiom. But it is a profound Igbo idiom, Igbo language idiom. And as I said in the last presentation, if you don't understand the Omenana, even if you are Igbo, if you don't know the Igbo language, you will never understand what the writers of the Hebrew Bible we are talking about. They were saying, when they say that Haran died in the face of the father, they were saying that because Haran died in the face of the father, that Haran predeceased his father. Haran died before, while his father was still alive. And in Hebrew, Semitic, Israelite, Igbo tradition, this has serious implications. Haran lost his right as the first son of that family because he died while the father was still alive. But the clincher is that if somebody predeceases the father in the Igbo society, the Igbo say, "Onwuru n'ihu nna ya." He died in the face of the father. So, word for word, syllable for syllable, the writers of the Bible did a perfect translation. The translation was perfect there because a lot of translations don't capture exactly what you find in the original or what you find in the words of the people of the oral tradition. A lot of translations miss it. But this one was perfect, and the Igbo language proved that the translation, "he died in the face of the father," is the correct one. So, this is the little that I can tell you about why I say that Hebrew and the Igbo are one language. But the experts that categorize languages are victims of racism and Eurocentrism. The identity Israelite has been appropriated and included exclusively into white, into Western. So they were not able to look at the Igbo language to see that to even understand that language they think is Western, they have to go back into Africa and look at the language called Igbo to even understand that language called Hebrew very well. So this is the much I want to say about this for now. Thank you.
All praises. Definitely interested in learning. I'm trying to learn Hebrew too. So yeah, that's very interesting. My second question will be in family. After I ask these few questions, feel free to type in your questions, and I will definitely get them posted and ask Remy to answer them. So get ready after I ask these few questions. So my second question is, what do you think about the position the African Americans and Caribbeans are the children of Israel? Let me repeat that. What do you think about the position that the African Americans and the Caribbeans are the children of Israel?
My answer will come directly and then by explanations. A very great number I'd say the third time, a very great number of African Americans and Caribbeans are lineal descendants of the Israelites because they are descendants of ancient Igbos. This is the answer. I'm going to expatiate more because most people outside Nigeria do not know anything about the Igbo people. So, the Igbo people are lineal descendants of the Israelites. In the 21st century, the Igbo people are the first people that a court recognized by halakha ruled that they are lineal descendants of the Israelites. The 21st century, the Igbo people, I repeat, are the very first people in the world that a court recognized by halakha ruled that they are lineal descendants of the Israelites. And this court supported its ruling with evidence that can stand up in court and work. We just finished looking at the language of the Igbo people. If we get into their culture, if we get into how they live their lives, we will not do any other thing today because they are living exactly as the Israelites of the Bible lived, even in the 21st century. The way their communities are organized, is the way biblical Israel is organized. Most of them don't know this today. But those that have studied them, those that have studied the Bible, immediately they go there, they see the signs very clear. And millions of African Americans and Caribbeans descended from these people. And many of those African Americans and Caribbeans, they knew that they came from those people called the Igbo people today. We know about the great abolitionist called Olaudah Equiano. He ended up a British, but he could have ended up an African American or Caribbean because he was in the colonies. I studied William Saunders Crowdy, the founder of the Church of God and Saints of Christ, Temple Bethel. As a trained eye, as a scholar, I can recognize Igbo culture. In a lot of things he did, I recognize the Igbo culture. And over 100 years ago, this man formed a Judaic congregation because he knew where he was coming from. This is why I say that many African Americans, many Caribbeans are descendants of the biblical Israelites. What I'm doing is not new. Many African Americans and Caribbeans have said that African Americans and Caribbeans are descendants of the biblical Israelites. They have said it. So the only thing I'm bringing new to the table is that I'm supporting what they are saying with culture, religion, and history. Because in most cases, what African Americans and Caribbeans do is they just use Deuteronomy 28, their experiences in the slave ship, but they don't go deeply into explaining what happened. And they shouldn't be blamed for that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Brother Remy, a lot of people use Deuteronomy 28 as so much historical information to show who we are, and that's all they know. And definitely need to study a little bit more than that. Yeah. So my third question will be: are the Igbo people victims of anti anti-Semitism and racism?
From what we know today, the only group that its experiences with anti-Semitism may be worse than the Igbo experience with anti-Semitism are the group, or is the group called the Ashkenazi Jew, because of the Holocaust. Because the truth has to be told, because the truth will save us. The Holocaust was worse than the Igbo genocide. But that is the only thing that could make someone to say that they have suffered more anti-Semitism than the Igbos. But every other group that came from Israel, like the Sephardi, the Mizrahi Jews, they have not suffered as much from anti-Semitism as the Igbos have suffered. The Igbos, according to Susan Kronje, looking at what was going on in Nigeria between 1966 and 1970, she said that those people that are denying that this was genocide have not looked at Nigerian history to see the long persecution of the Igbos, starting from the British. And interestingly, even in colonial times or before colonial times, Nigerians oppressed the Igbos. The people that became Nigerians oppressed the Igbos. When the African Americans and Caribbeans say they were carried and put into the slave ships, again, they are saying the truth, but they are not using the right language. What they should be saying is that as Igbos, we were put into inside the slave ships. Yesterday, I saw a report where somebody from Nigeria, a very minor people today, less than 1/10 of the Igbo people, was bragging that they were selling the Igbos. And he showed evidence. In a book written by an European about slavery in his homeland, in the homeland of this man, the European said 604 Igbo, that is Igbo, youth sold in one day. You know what this guy said? No repentance, no penitence, no apology. He said, and today they rise up to challenge their masters. In other words, he is saying, who are these Igbos to talk where we are talking, even though they were our slaves? That was what he meant. So, the Igbos have known anti-Semitism, but unfortunately, the Igbos are among the group of people the power to define was taken away from. Like, a lot of Igbos today will say they are Africans, they are black. Did Igbos contribute to the formulation of these two terms? No. Igbos were not among the people who first came into contact with the term anti-Semitism. So, even though they are suffering from it, they don't even know the name of what they are suffering from. That is why nobody talks about them when they discuss it. Even when Nigerians, we are saying, we are calling the Igbos dirty Jews. Even when Henry Kissinger, The former Secretary of State of America said that Igbos are Jews during the violence against the Igbos. It is still not easy for Igbos to connect it to anti-Semitism because the power to define, the power to even know what is happening to them was taken away from the Igbos. Then you asked, victims of racism? Of course, Igbos are victims of racism. African Americans that descended from the Igbos would suffer from racism. Caribbeans that descended from Igbos will suffer from racism. Just like every other African American and Caribbean, because we have to face the facts, we are doing everything possible to retire anti-Semitism and racism, but we cannot say that they did not exist in the world. According to Professor Walter Isaac, he's now in the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. He said that the Igbos are the only Israelites, he uses the term Jew, who suffer from both anti-Semitism and racism. They suffer from anti-Semitism because they are Israelites, and then they suffer from racism because they are dark. That is that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's powerful. All right, so what do you propose to the antidote to racism and anti-Semitism? How do we try to solve that?
Education is extremely important, and it has to the parties that are the primary victims of anti-Semitism and racism have to embrace education. And who are those primary victims? I will mention them narrowly. The Jewish community is a victim of anti-Semitism. The Igbo community is a victim of anti-Semitism. African Americans and Caribbeans have had a very terrible experience with racism. And I believe that the Igbos among them will also be suffering from anti-Semitism without knowing. These groups need to come together. If they are Orthodox Jews, if they are Hebrew Israelites, if they are Igbos, they need to look more at what unites them. This is not easy. This is not going to be easy because these divisions have been there for a very long time. Humanity has been divided into black and white, and we have not always treated one another with kindness. But we have a common problem: anti-Semitism and racism. So these people I mentioned, they have to leave their comfort zones, forgive each other, and work together, and educate the rest of humanity. Because not everybody in the world is wicked, but a lot of people in the world are ignorant. A lot of people in the world are ignorant. Otherwise, if you are not ignorant, how can you believe that because your skin color is different from my own skin color, that you are superior to me? It's ignorance. For a lot, there are those that are wicked. Let them be in the minority. But let that middle ground be filled with people who are ready to give other people a chance. Because the world is enough for all of us if we respect it and respect one another. So this is my take on how we can begin to confront these maladies that have blighted humanity. Thank you.
Wow. My next question would be, what do you propose to use to bridge the gap between African Americans and Jewish Americans?
Again, as I said not too long ago, A very huge number of African Americans and Caribbeans are Israelites. They are Igbo people. You, Barawak, you are one. You are an Igbo. This automatically makes you a direct brother to an Ashkenazi Jew and a Sephardi Jew. Whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, I don't care. You, Barawak, here, TD Jakes, Forrest Whitaker, many of them, you are Israelites. Our brother here, Bana, how? You guys are Igbos. You guys are Israelites. This makes you the Ashkenazi Jew, the Sephardi Jew brothers. Makes them your brothers too. As brothers, what are brothers and sisters supposed to do? They are supposed to embrace each other. Over the years, brothers have hurt brothers, sisters have hurt sisters. That is all that we read about last week in the Hebrew Bible. How the sons of Israel sold their brother into slavery. But did their brother hold it against them forever? No. He forgave them. And the family became strengthened. So, African Americans, Caribbeans, and Jews will come together through education. And I have a formula. When they look at the Igbos, they will see themselves more clearly. The Igbos is the connecting rod between them. When the African American and the Caribbean looks at Igbo culture and history, he will see more clearly that he's an Israelite. When the Jews look at Igbo culture, they will see that they are not the only people that are doing those things they call Judaism. That the people that are called blacks are doing those things. And then their fellow citizens in the African American community and the Caribbean community who are called blacks came out of those same people that are doing exactly those things that the Jews are doing. The Jews will recognize that these are their brothers. Like, I know that many of them will listen to this video and see the commonalities, the similarities between the language they call Hebrew and the language they call Igbo. These are not coincidences. This is one family separated by exigencies of life. This is the time to come together. This is the time to come together. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Sister, as soon as I ask this question, I'll get your question answered. I don't know what you mean by misri legends. MISRI. Can you explain that in detail? Because I don't think Remy will know what that means either. But definitely, y'all get your questions ready now, because I'm gonna ask this last question and then open up the panel for y'all to ask some questions, and I'll ask some in between. The last one, what do the Igbo people think about the Deuteronomy 28 as a marker for Israelite identity?
Deuteronomy 28 is not the only marker of Israelite identity, but it is certainly a marker. It is certainly a marker of Israelite identity. Anybody who looks at any society, anybody that is a scholar, who looks at any society and see that they suffered over 90% from the causes in Deuteronomy 28 and dismisses the theory or suggestion that community had something to do with the Israelites, is a very careless scholar. I repeat what I said. Anybody that claims to be a scholar who looks at a community that suffered over 90% of from the curses in Deuteronomy 28, and after looking at that community and seeing that they suffered from over 90% of the curses, that person dismissed the theory, the suggestion that that community had something to do with the Israelites. I don't respect that scholar, because I know that the experiences of the Igbos is different from the experiences of the Yorubas. The Yorubas did not suffer from the causes of Deuteronomy 28. They were not even colonized. The Fulani, the Hausa, the Yoruba, to call what they passed through colonialism is simply because English language is calling a foreigner coming to your territory colonialism. If you want to look at colonialism, look at the experience of the Igbos. Only the religion of the Igbos was fought. Nobody fought against the religion of the Yorubas. That is why they still have their kings who are gods today. The people that led their societies were their kings. They were also gods. The British did not say, we don't want this, throw it away. But they came to the Igbo society, they destroyed the tradition of leadership. And once they destroy your tradition of leadership, you cannot recover again. You can't recover again. So, but I will repeat what I said. The Deuteronomy 28 suggestion is certainly a very strong suggestion of Israelite identity, but it is not the sole marker. There are others. There are others that are also to be used to establish Israelite identity. Thank you.
All right, the floor is open for some questions, family. The sister here said the Misri legend is a migration myth prevalent among various tribes in East Africa. It suggests an origin from a place called Misri, often identified as Egypt or similar area north of Mount Elgon. So I think she's asking, are you familiar with some type of migration myth from those areas from any African tribes?
Okay. Thank you, our sister Israel, 21. I am very glad that you asked this question because I told Brother Barawak last week or so that I love what he's doing. I love what he's doing with his community, because it is high time we really look very carefully at history, because a lot of information that is not history is being pushed and they are confusing people. I am not very familiar with this legend that you postulated about here, but I will not dismiss it, because in Nigeria there are similar legends. And I know that those legends in Nigeria that are similar to this one are valid. They are very valid. Egypt was like the United States is today. It was the world, it was the center of the world. Everybody in the world, or most people in the world, went to Egypt. Because even though it came after Sumer, but it became the center of commerce, the center of culture. So everybody went there. I'm not saying that everybody originated from there. I believe, or rather, I do not dismiss that the first ancestors of modern man originated in East Africa. I don't dismiss that. But that was hundreds of thousands of years ago, or thousands of years ago. I believe that what we will call the civilizations that are close to the historical period developed in the Levant first. They developed first in the Levant. That is why we have Sumer. That was why we have Egypt. So those ancestors of humanity that started off in East Africa, I believe that they also moved to that area. We have not yet done enough personal study about geography then to know all the reasons why people move to that area. But we have some of the reasons. There is water. There is a lot of water there. The Tigris, the Euphrates, the River Nile. So, but ultimately, when those places began to fill up, people began to come down too. This explains to me this mystery migration that these people came from Egypt. Because in Nigeria, it is not only the Igbos that came from the north. There are other people that came to the north of the Igbos. There is the Idoma people. We are looking very carefully into the theory that they are connected to the Edomites. The Yorubas are related to the Pharaonic Egypt and the Canaanites that the Israelites share the land of Canaan with. The Hausa people are also related to that family. In Nigeria, we have Arabs, real Arabs who have been in Nigeria for thousands of years, for at least 1,000 years. But when people talk about Arabs, they think Arabs are only in the Middle East. They forget that people have been migrating. And people will keep migrating. In Senegal, there are Arabs. All over West Africa, there are Arabs. The Fulani people and the Arab people are related. So, and why did they come towards, in West Africa, Nigeria? Water. Water. Nigeria has hundreds of rivers. Hundreds. And East Africa, I'm not very familiar with that area, but maybe there is a lot of water there too. So that is the much I can say to the question by Sister Israel.
All praises. Brother Benayah asked a question. He said, you had mentioned the Ashkenazis being our brother. Are you in reference to saying that like bloodline? Because they come from Japheth. So he's asking, is it bloodline or is it saying spiritually they are brothers?
You see, by blood and culturally, they are related to us. If I tell Brother Benayah that I have distant cousins in Ukraine in my genetic history, how is he going to respond? And if he himself examines his DNA, he would find that there are Europeans he's related to. So, why wouldn't the Ashkenazi be related to us by blood? Geography explained what makes people look differently. Geography simply explains some of the things that make people look differently, because there are also some that are even beyond geography. Esau and Jacob were twins, but the Bible noted that they had different colors. Not just brothers, but twins. You know, the Bible tried to record everything that a nation did, and which was very difficult for such a small book to record. But what it did was that it touched on the most important things. So for the Bible to mention the color of Jacob and Esau from the same womb, yet they were different. Then why do you expect that Sabrawak will develop in West Africa, will stay in West Africa for 1,000 years, where you have 12 months of summer? 12 months of summer. And that his brother, who moved into Siberia and stayed for 1,000 years, where you have less than 6 months of summer, why would you expect their colors to be the same? Some Ashkenazi Jews are descendants of the Israelites. I said some. This is history. This is history. And so they are our brothers.
So when I looked at my DNA, I had less than 2% European blood. So it wasn't that much. There's less than 2%. But the reason why he asked that, Benayal, and I agree, because of looking at the genealogy, and I do understand. This is what I do understand, because I had some DNA guys I interviewed on my channel that's in my library. They did speak of that you can have a different type of your skin color could be different, and you can have the DNA of a black person and be European looking, right? That's what the DNA said. That's what was told to me. So, but my thing to that, through the mutation and all that, I believe now probably because of the mutation and the migration patterns. But I don't think, as this is my opinion, I don't think during Genesis 10, dealing with the genealogy and all that it was because the scriptures say that the Ashkenazis come through Japheth, and we come through Jacob and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's why he asked that question. But I kind of understand what you're saying.
But let me do some explanation about why they are called Ashkenazi. They are called Ashkenazi because they lived in Germany. One of the names of Germany is Ashkenaz. Yeah, one of the names of Germany is Ashkenaz, just like Sepharad means Spain. And I want to make us to think of something now. Some people have said that they believe the Ashkenazi were converted. Do you believe that people can convert people without intermarrying with them? They will marry them. And once they marry, the blood becomes mixed again. Because how would they have learned the culture of the Israelites if they were, assuming they were not Israelites? I don't accept that they were not. To me, a good number of them are Israelites. But if somebody is thinking strictly that they are all converts, but today we find them with a lot of culture of the Israelites, somebody must have taught it to them. How could somebody have taught it to them without mixing with them? You see, in the modern period, in the last 20 years, some American Jews have started going to Igbo land to study Omenan and Judaism with Igbos. They are meeting not only in the study places, they are meeting in the bedrooms. They are marrying each other. I said in the last 20 years, some Jews from Israel and from America have started going to Igbo land to study Omenan and Torah with the Igbo people. And I'm saying they are not only meeting at the table where they are studying, they are meeting in the bedrooms. They are marrying. Dr. Elazar Mota is a married man. He's married, but if he had not married, he went there and spent 1 month. What if he came back with an Igbo wife? Mixture. So, so it will be very difficult for us to say.
Did you say Demota?
I said he was married. Otherwise, if he was not married and he went to Igbo land and found an Igbo wife, Sephardi blood and
Right,
Igbo
because
blood,
he's Sephardic. Right.
Sephardi blood and Igbo blood will mix. I know some Ashkenazi that have gone there, married Igbos. The blood has mixed. So, what I'm saying is, they are not. The history does not support that they are all converts, because that culture, that their culture is showing that they were Israelites. And if somebody says no, I don't accept that somebody taught them, how can the person teach them without marrying them?
Yeah, you have something?
I was just trying to understand. I'm tuning in. I'm trying to really get what he's saying. So Sephardic, right? Sephardic Jews. That's just the faith, right? Or he's saying that these are people.
You have to speak up.
When they say Sephardi Jew, they mean Spanish Jew, because the word Sepharad means Spain, while the word Ashkenaz means Germany.
Okay, so if a Germanic person, you saying if he mix with a Shemitic person, right? Just explain what you just said, because I'm trying to really understand you. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Because my claim was, how could we be related to Ashkenaz, being that we come through two different lines? Now we know in today's day there have to be some type of genetic mutation for the whites and Asians today. So if we continue to mix with them, I can see like right now, if we continue to mix back with them, and we would produce whatever the father is. But as of right now, could I say that I have Germanic blood inside of me right now?
Can you tell me what our brother is saying? I did not catch it very well.
So he's saying he's trying to understand, since the Ashkenazis come through a different line and we come from a different line. But I think you didn't hear the part what you said, through mixing, somebody had to teach them back then in order for Ashkenazis to be Israelites. You did make a statement that they had to mix with us and be taught, and in their DNA they would be considered Israelites. Is that what you said, Remy?
No, what I was saying was, it is not disputable that their culture is Israelite culture. I have looked at Judaism very carefully. It is very, very similar to the Igbo religion, which is the Israelite religion. The other day, I told us about some of the cultural similarities between Omen and Judaism. But if somebody looks at their culture and is saying, no, they have this culture because they converted. So my question to that person would be, if they were converts, it means that they came into contact with Israelites. And once they came into contact with Israelites, they and those Israelites will marry. But I do not even say that they came from a different lineage. There is no proof that they came from a different lineage, because they are not, the Bible did not say that they were Japhet. But people are saying because they are called Ashkenazi, then they came from Japhet. But they are called Ashkenazi because Ashkenaz means Germany. And they stayed in Germany for a very long time. It's just like somebody calling me West African. It is just like somebody saying Remy is West Africa. I'm not West African. It's just where I lived. They are called Ashkenazi because they were in Germany for a long time. Elazar the Mota was in Spain for a long time. That's why he's Sephardi.
So what Ben and Y'all is saying, Remy, and I get what you're saying, and then we'll move on. In the scriptures in Genesis 10, it says Japheth, and then it gives all his sons. In the verse, it says Ashkenazi. In the verse, in the Torah, it says the word Ashkenaz. So that's what Ben and Y'all was saying, that they come through Japheth.
That Ashkenaz is a different Ashkenaz from the Ashkenaz in Germany. Because if you go through the Bible, you will not find anywhere where anybody that we are Israelites, we are referred to as Ashkenaz. And we cannot look at all the evidence that the Ashkenazi Jews can produce of Israelite culture, including anti-Semitism and genocide. We can't look at all that evidence and say they are not Israelites. If we look at all that evidence and say they are not Israelites, we will play into the hands of people that say, yes, the Igbos have all the culture, but they are blacks. We cannot accept that they are Israelites. Because look at the Ashkenazis. Their Judaism is like this with Igbo culture. I can give you examples. I can tell you things now that they wouldn't have known unless they are Israelites. Because those things are, sometimes they are not even in the Torah. I'll give you an example. You live in America, so you have free and easy access to the Jewish community. Go to any Jewish community that is very traditional. Tell them to tell you how they dig graves. If somebody dies, how they dig their grave. It is exactly the way the Igbos dig their graves. I will tell you something that will shock you now. The people that are handling the pick, that is the shovel, the diggers, when they are tired, they don't give anybody that you don't raise the shovel and give it to the next person. You take the shovel and put it into a bucket. It is tradition. This is exactly what the Igbos are doing. And this is in the Shulchan Aruch. This is in the Shulchan Aruch. What I just told you is in the Shulchan Aruch. You cannot give somebody the shovel. So, I tell my Ashkenazi Jewish friends.
My wife,
you know what I tell my Ashkenazi Jewish friends? You know what I tell them? I tell them that they're Igbos. I simply tell them that they're Igbos. That's what I tell them.
My wife said, could you repeat, what's the question?
You said you find it where in the shadow?
He said you find something in the Shulchan
Aruch, Code of Jewish Customs.
Oh, okay.
Jewish customs.
All right. Yeah.
They wrote it. It's the book they wrote. Igbos did not write it. But the very first day I saw that tradition, I fell into shock. I was in shock that people who are not Igbo can do this. I tell my Ashkenazi and Sephardi Jewish friends, you are Igbos. You are Igbos. In your book.
Right, Remy. My wife has a question here. It says, in your book, Igbo Religion and Culture, page 55, you have two sources regarding Umanala, Igbo customs. However, I can't make it out to look them up. Can you please provide these sources? Okay. The name is up here.
Yeah, Sagala mentioned that you have two sources. Can she read out to me those sources I spoke about?
Yes, about pictures. She's looking it up now.
So one is called Omi Nala.
One is called Omi Nala.
Nadi Igbo.
Nadi Igbo.
I know. Yeah. These books may be out of print. They are in Nigeria. They are in Nigeria and they were written in Igbo language. We will find out time and republish. But if you read the Hebrew Igbo Republics and the intercultural study of the largest Jewish diaspora and all my other books, you will get more than what you will get from these two, because these two are written in the Igbo language. So you will be able to read them in the future, not now, when you have mastered the Igbo language.
Okay, the second question is, can you translate the word mentioned in your book, Chi, Chiukwuu? Is this Igbo word for the Most High?
Absolutely. And some scholars are coming closer and closer to acknowledge that this is the Chi. The Chi is part of the name of the original name of the God of Israel. If you go to the Shema prayer, does anybody have the Shema prayer here?
We don't have it, right on the hand, but that's we say it in our prayers when we open up the prayer. Yeah.
Okay. There is a word in the second verse that says Anochi. 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 That word, that strange word that purportedly came from Egyptian, purportedly. That word that word needs to be taken very carefully. I suppose that word is connected. That word is connected to the name of the God of Israel, and it is the Igbo name for the supreme being, Chi. So I can see a question from Antonia Hines, our sister. Can I respond?
Which one? This one here? Yes. This one here. Yes, you can answer this. And family, before you answer, type in your questions. Family, the floor is open. If you got any questions, please type the questions in the chat so we can ask Remy.
Yeah, all right. I saw the question is this question. I saw the question, and my response to our sister is, let us study and let us have, English is my second language, so I'm not as fluent in it as you guys are. Let us prayerfully study and have an open mind. Let us have an open mind. Why I insist that we should have an open mind is be open to say with some humility that it's not everything that we were told that may be as we were taught they were. A lot of people have hurt people in the world. There is no doubt about that. A lot of people have hurt people in the world. There is no doubt about that. But I am still very, very strongly of the view that the best thing we will do is to study very calmly, work with the facts. And when we get the facts, we present them in a very calm way. People that have done wrong things, I know where they have shown some repentance. I know where people have done wrong things And they have also shown repentance. I'm an apostle of truth. I can never ever conceal evil. This is who I am. We are of the house of Israel. Some of us have hurt their brothers and sisters. The best way to solve the problem is to dialogue. With dialogue, there will be penitence. There will be forgiveness. And then we move together in peace. We are one family.
All right. Any more questions, family? Any more questions? Here's one on the screen.
Okay, I see the question. I do not. So my own research has not indicated to me that all the Jews or all the Ashkenazi are Khazarians. That's not what I saw in my own research. I saw in my own research that some of them are descendants of the Israelites. That is what I saw. And I'm open. I like to learn. I don't close my mind to anything. And I have weighed in on this. Even in this presentation, I have said that if they were 100% Khazarian, then, but as our brother here is saying, they took our teachings. They cannot take our teachings in the air. They will take our teachings because they met our people. How can they meet our people without intermarrying with our people? If they were not Israelites, they met our people. Then they became one. But I think that the history is much more complicated than that. I believe that some of them are descendants of the Israelites, just like we are. Is it all of them? No. Is it all of us? No. Even in the Bible itself, there were people that joined the Israelites. Caleb was not an Israelite. He was a Kenite. The Gibeonites, they were not Israelites. They joined. But to now say that all the Israelites we are Gibeonites, that will not be historical. To say that all the Ashkenazi are Khazarians is like saying that all the Israelites were Gibeonites. Some of the Ashkenazi Jews, some of the Sephardi Jews were Israelites. Some were non-Israelites. I know that there are Igbos who are Israelites. I'm one of them. But I will not swear that every Igbo is Israelite.
All right. Any more questions, family? While we waiting, I'll shoot one in. I keep pronouncing it wrong, right? The dealing with the land, Umanani. I think that's how you say it.
Umenana.
Umenana. Now, in the land, in the Torah speaks of the land having a Sabbath, right? Every certain amount of years. Did y'all practice that as well in the Igbo culture?
The Torah is a record of Omenana. It is Omenana that the Torah is citing. So everything that you see Moses saying, you find it in Omenana. So we do it. There is nothing you find Moses saying that is good that we do not do, even today. Everything.
So Remy, what's your take on people saying Israel, right? The land of Israel right there that's not the land. It's South Africa. Some people say South Africa. Some people say Ethiopia. But I do know in the culture that Demoda was saying some people would take a piece of land with them when they travel to another country. And that was just a tradition that some people did. But far as I believe Israel was bigger than what they say it is, but I believe that's the particular homeland. But what's your thoughts on people saying that's none of that's it? It's South Africa.
I will tell you and the brothers and sisters here something. That thing may not make you completely happy, but I will say it because there was something I told you last week. I told you that this your channel will ultimately become one of the most important channels in the world. Because for reasons I just don't understand, we are saying the truth here. Respectfully. Yeah, people have made all sorts of claims that they cannot validate. I want to be shown that place outside the land of Israel and the Igbo land where people can point to that Israelite culture. It doesn't exist anywhere. Let us call a spade a spade. They can point to other cultures. They can point to the culture of rabbinic Judaism in some places. But I'm talking of the Israelite culture. Israelites. That is the culture you find Moses, Aaron, Jacob, Judah practicing. It's only in the land of Israel and in Igbo land in the world. There is no place else. It doesn't exist anywhere. They have not shown us evidence. They have not shown us evidence of Israelite culture outside these two lands. And in the state of Israel, it's archaeology and the stories. But in Igbo land, you see the traditions. People are still doing them. Meanwhile, I'm not saying that it's only Igbos that are Israelites. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it is their land and the land of Israel where you find that culture, that way of life. That way of life. It is when you come to Igbo land that you see people marrying exactly the way Isaac married Rebecca, without even knowing that that was what they were doing.
Yes.
It is among the Igbos that you will come. You will find the land divided exactly the way the land is divided in the land of Israel by Joshua. Not in South Africa, not in anywhere. So what people are doing is people will wake up, they make a claim, but let them support the claim with evidence they are unable. You see, it's not I don't know. People are free to do whatever they like. People are free to say whatever they like, but people should be more responsible because people are acting on these things they are saying. If you say if they say it's in Mongolia, it's in South Africa, let them show us the things that Aaron did that anybody is doing in South Africa today. They will not show you. But when Danielese visited Nigeria, he saw the goat of atonement running wild. Yes. Yes.
I got his book. I'm going to dive into his book. I'm trying to get him on here, Remy.
Okay. So the Igbos may not be known. They may not be shouting that they are this, they are that, but the evidence cannot be disputed. And it is your history too. It is you guys that should be projecting this culture of the Igbos because it's your culture. It is not my culture more than your own. It is not my land more than your land.
Right, Remy, we got another question up here.
We did not adopt African name. The brother that asked the question, to the Igbo person, you are Okibiri. That is male Hebrew. We did not drop our original identity. We did not drop it. Igbo is simply another way of saying Hebrew. But even better, the way we will address Sister Sagala is Ibiri Ache. That is what we will call her, Ibiri Ache. We will call Brother Banayao Okibiri. We will call Brother Barawak Okibiri. Ibiri is Hebrew. Ibiri means Hebrew. So the Igbos did not strip. Their own was not stripped. Remember, the Israelites were called the Hebrews all through the Old Testament, even in the New Testament. They were either called Israelites or they were called Hebrews. You know, people that have dominated this kind of studies, they don't want this Igbo story to come out. They don't want it to come out.
Yeah, when I interviewed Demoda definitely said in the video that Igbo language and Hebrew language is very, very close together.
Yeah. But I'm telling you that the people that have dominated this area of study don't want this story to come out. They don't want the story to come out. But it must come out.
So the defenders of what you do, right? What is your purpose? The Igbo, I think it's the Unami defenders. Is that just help the people that's in like Christianity that's been colonized, try to bring them back? Is that the purpose?
We want to bring the Igbo people, all the people of Israel, including you, everybody else, back to the culture of the Israelites, so that we will become one family again. Because the reason why we snipe, why we back, why we snap at each other is because we are observing different cultures. We are eating different foods. We are marrying differently. We are believing different things. I'm looking at you as a black. You are looking at me as a black. You are looking at me as a white. We are not seeing each other as brothers and sisters because different culture.
Another question over here.
You have automatic right of return to Igbo land because it's your land. Automatic. It is automatic. Yeah.
I know Ghana offered that as well. So yeah. Here's another question. Sister asked.
Yeah. No, the traditional religious the religion is Omenana. Ordinary is an aberration that people that are trying to be scholars on Facebook are inventing. You cannot find any book. You cannot find any book that is over 25 years old that mentioned ordinary. But you will find books that are 50 years that say Omenana. Chi is Chiukwu. And we do not have a word for deities or gods. You can find Igbos today who do not know where their parents were buried, who are talking about gods. but tell them to translate, to find you an Igbo word for gods or deities. They will not be able to find them for you. Sister Ivana Douglas, I repeat what I said. The name of the religion is Omenana, not Ordinana. And I'm saying that the Igbo language does not contain a word for deities. It does not have a word for small deity with a small d. It has only a word for God with a capital G. So, but you will find all kinds of things on Google, on Wikipedia, on AI, all kinds of nonsense. But how you know that those things you find are not valid is locate the people that are saying those things, tell them to find you the Igbo word for like gods. They will not find it for you. And if a people don't have a word for something, it means they don't know that thing. But remember, the Igbos passed through criminal colonialism. So most of the things they are thinking that it is their own today, we are things that we are giving to them. I know these things, I know, because I post my life for 23 years. I have done nothing for 23 years apart from study. I was an attorney and a law teacher in Nigeria at a university. I abandoned everything, came to the United States, started afresh, studied a master's, studied for a PhD in order to know.
Yeah, just for the record, family, I don't know. He does have PhDs, degrees. Rabbi Demoda, who I played this video earlier, said Remy is the top Igbo scholar for the Igbo people. So for those who don't know, he played a major part in this Igbo culture of studying the Igbos. And also, if y'all don't know, mostly I've heard this, but if you're new to hearing Remy, the Jewish courts in Israel, the Obadiah Alliance letter, ruled that the Igbos are the descendants of the Hebrew Israelites. And I have the actual letter, and if anybody wants to read the letter, email me and I'll send you a copy of it. But they ruled that the Igbos, and for the record, Remy, what would be the percentage you think of Igbos that came over on in the slave trade? Would you say it was over 60% Igbo that came to America?
If you want to look at the way that our people who are your direct ancestors were treated, forced to marry each other, then we will be looking at the very high possibility that up to 60% of African Americans have Igbo blood. But if you are talking of the people taken from directly, scholars in this area of study said it's over 25%, which is extremely high. But then, now when they get into the colonies, they began to mix them, which means at the end of the day, almost everybody has Igbo blood.
Yeah, I know I do. I took my DNA. I definitely do. I have the majority of my blood is DNA of Igbo. The rest is under that percentage. Any more questions, family? If not, let me know. We'll close out. Any more questions? Type them in the chat. I'll wait a few minutes. Definitely a great interview again, Remy. Oh, my goodness. Very, very informative. Any more questions, family? Any more questions? I'll give y'all a second to type them in. Yeah, and while we waiting, tune in January 10th. I have Zion Lex coming on to do a presentation dealing with Hebrew as well. And Zion Lex, if y'all haven't heard of him, you haven't been in the Hebrew social media network. But he speaks Hebrew and teaches. I'm in his Hebrew class. And that's on the screen, January 10th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Mark your calendars. Y'all don't want to miss this. He's open for questions. And I think we all need to learn the biblical Hebrew, which they call the so-called modern Hebrew. I believe we all should learn it for conversational reasons. And I'm not saying throw out the Lashon Kodash. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is for us to hold these type of conversations like I'm speaking now, we need to learn that Hebrew. Oh, I know I do. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm going to learn it. But anyway, any more questions? That's January 10th, 6 p.m. So we got the calendar full for the rest of the month, and I have some other people coming on. Should be following up with the dates tomorrow as we speak. So please, any more questions? Anybody? Any more questions? If not, we're going to close out. Great interview. And I'm definitely learning about more. Y'all take the DNA. Y'all don't be scared. Everybody take the DNA and see how much Igbo blood you have in it. There's a lot of us over in America that have Igbo blood. And like you said, with the letter, the Jews saying they know that we the descendants, that speaks volumes. These are the Ashkenazi Jews y'all call over in Israel. So I don't see any more questions. I'm going to wait one more minute just in case somebody's typing, and then we're going to close out.
Thank you, Sister Ibiriache. Ibiriache Sagala. I was right. You are Ibiriache Sagala. That is female Hebrew, Sagala, woman Hebrew. Right. Shalom. Thank you.
Yes, blessings. All right, y'all. Thank you, Remy, for coming out. Thank you for the informative information. And down the future, we sure enough would love to have you back again in the future. It's always a blessing, man. We learned a lot. I know I did, and I know some of us don't agree with some things, but that's how we got to do our own research. And that's how it is. And with that being said, Shalom, everybody. Shalom, Facebook. Shalom, YouTube. All praises. Hit the like button, family, and share the video, please. Inform everybody. Let the family see this about us being Igbos. Shalom, shalom.
Only ever known. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I made a promise, can't nobody take it. I chose to put you above all the nations. Out of your graves, I chose to awaken. We made a covenant, don't you forsake it. Come get protected while they going crazy. Israel, my firstborn, my baby. Israel, my firstborn, my baby. I woke you up in your land of captivity. I do not change, I want you to remember me. Laws and commandments, I gave you the remedy. Go read the testimonies for your memory. I sent them prophets, but you wasn't hearing me. I come to you if you really come near to me. I heard your cry, now it's time to take it to me. I'm the one got you from all of your enemies. Who you know open the sea. Them waters was bitter, but I made it sweet. In case you ain't know how to swim, I'm your protector, so I made you walk on your feet. This a reminder you married to me. I just want you to be all I called you to be. They called you niggas, but I made you priests. I'm about to give you back everything. I'm sending plays for you. I'm sending boys drying up rivers. I leave them dead for you. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. You heard what I said for you. Tell Pharaoh, let my people go. You heard what I said for you. For you, you only ever known. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel. I'm the reason you in captivity. We made a covenant, you ain't remember me. You broke the covenant, I sent your enemy. Get out my lane since you wasn't fearing me. I'm the reason they put you in chains. I'm the reason they switched up your name. I'm the reason why you in the hood. I'm the reason of all your pain. I'm sending flows fast, daily. Think I don't love you. Y'all my babies. Gave my son, must be crazy. Come out that system, come out of that lady. They got that military when I face me. It would not move me, it would not graze me. Remember Egypt, I did all that for my people. You only ever known. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. You only ever known. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel.